Hello, good evening to North America. Good afternoon. I'm not up on my time zone math right now. Welcome to the 2022 main Link to the Past Randomizer tournament. I'm Esmar. Joining me in the booth is VXR.
Hello, everyone. So yeah, this is Vortex of Doom versus Willard J. Bradley in Group Z, or as the layout says, Group Z.
Yeah, we gotta send some love to the Canucks, the Brits. I think they say it over there. The Australians in the crowd.
Anyone not American, basically, that speaks English.
But yeah, we have a rule set that we're using here. We have our special sort of grab bag shuffle based mode selection. What we've got today is we've got our standard hard open. Standard, not the game mode, but a regular. You all know what I mean.
The one using the
So
qualifiers.
this has the modified item pool, which, if memory serves, it's got 4 swords placed, but is capped at 3. The bows are not progressive, but silvers and bow are separate items. It's got a reduced number of full heart containers, increased number of pieces of heart, no mail upgrades, no half magic, and a single bottle available. I think it's 4, but capped at 1. And it will always
Yes. Yep.
So that adds a little bit of execution to the late game. But we're going to get started here in just a second.
Vortex knows what chat wants. Alright, so there was a key in the Sanctuary and a red rupee in Link's house.
Yeah, right off the bat, we're seeing a different start here. It's kind of, apples to apples here, comparing these different starts. It's kind of a wash which one you like to do. Now, I know that Vortex was not necessarily looking forward to this matchup versus Willard. He would have rather faced one of the other 2 players in his group as his first match of the tournament. But looking at their history and their vanilla speedrun times, their randomizer results, this is going to be a pretty evenly matched matchup here. There's no clear winner off of no clear underdog here.
Yeah, oh, nice bomb drops from both the bushes and the enemies. As well as some more bombs from Uncle. Alright, so we did get a map check. We have a red crystal at Tower of Hera and a pendant at Eastern Palace. And is that a bottle, I think that was?
It was either a bottle or a bomb drop on... Yeah, it's a bottle, I think. I don't think Willard would be going here for bombs. But yeah, this is a kind of unusual route that from Willard here. This is not as standard as the route that Vortex is taking here. Starting at Sank, going through to Link's house, and then going south side up to Cac. No, it was the glove, actually. Yeah, that's definitely more important than either a bottle or bombs. So
very nice.
Yeah, fast eyes on these runners.
They go fast. More heart pieces. And just green rupees in the push card. I did not see what was on the library.
Yeah, it's kind of it's courtesy check. You're not going to come back there unless you really need it. Can't get the item without boots, but hey ho. Willard's into Cac, checking from the south side up. We are serenaded by Vortex's, the MSU Vortex is running Ace Attorney. He's not running the Phoenix Wright sprite, but instead his preferred Oracle GBC link.
Looks like the 2 are gonna converge in Kakariko. The glove doesn't really do a whole lot on its own. Logically based. Oh, there's a bottle.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be slightly fortuitous for Vortex here, because he's gonna be able to... Ooh, the silvers too, but he'll be able to turn that bottle into the sick kid on his way down. Willard will have to backtrack for that a little bit, but it's a couple seconds here isn't gonna make a make a huge difference. Willard here farming some bombs and arrows early on.
They're both heading to the well now. There's our first sword.
Red cane. Okay, it's not immediately useful to our runners here. We'll see some divergence eventually, I'm sure. But yeah, like you were saying, VXR, just the glove doesn't really do a whole lot for our runners quite yet. We're gonna have to see something else major show up before you really start doing something other than going through the early game motions.
Like, you could head up Death Mountain, but that's out of logic without a lamp.
Yeah, and there's not a lot of incentive to do it without access to the right side. You can skip the lamp and go straight up the dark, but you get Old Man Check, you get an idea of what's on top of Spec Rock and the item inside, and that's all you get. So it's a lot of time investment for not much gain at this point. We're far more likely to see South Shore, see what we get out of that. Maybe Fake Flippers or Eastern Palace. And I think probably the third choice that would make sense would be a trip down Hyrule Castle.
Yeah, that sword will make things nicer for them. And we can get to the back of Escape as well with the glove.
Yeah, and that's another option. That's an option that Willard actually kind of has available, having done sort of the south area that Vortex is in now already. Willard could decide to take that glove and check back of Escape right away here after the Lost Woods checks. We'll see if he opts to do that. But yeah, otherwise it's probably going to be down to South Shore for these runners.
So far, only one piece of the Dark World equation. You know, just a glove. We're still looking for Moon Pearl and then either Hammer or Mitts to get there.
Yeah, we're probably at this point, you know, if you've seen a couple of useful items, but just the glove for progression means that it looks like both of our runners are actually going to go straight to back of Escape with that glove. They're going to follow that right away, which makes sense. It's three quick checks here. Early game, you really want to go for item density generally, just to try to get as much information about where the seed kind of wants you to go right off the bat.
We get Ether. And also the map, so the rest of the stuff in Hyrule Castle are items.
Now, it looks like Vortex is opting to go and do Dark Escape backwards here with that small key from Sanctuary.
Ether doesn't really do anything right now, and of course that could be required to get into either Misery Mire or Turtle Rock, but we'll find out once we get the ability to check it out.
Yeah, since we've only seen one pendant in the Light World so far, it's possible that both Turtle Rock and Misery Mire are the other two pendants, but it's very likely we'll have to do at least one, if not both of those dungeons.
Yeah, you mentioned both Misery Mire and Turtle Rock potentially being pendants, but you did have an early Cane of Samaria.
It's true. Those are two dungeons for which that item is strictly required. So yeah, Vortex taking some extra time to do Dark Cross there. I think that's a pretty heads up, just kind of coverage play. You know, you're in back of Escape. You may as well cover yourself for when you want to actually dive down the main Hyrule Castle section, and you know, not have to consider whether or not you continue on to Dark Cross, because it'll already be done. if it comes to that, then Willard will probably have to check Dark Cross at that point.
Just a piece of heart on Hylia Island.
Yeah, it looks like Vortex is taking this opportunity to go to Eastern instead of South Shore area. Looking like that's probably going to pay off since Willard hasn't quite found anything there.
Yeah, Mini Moldorm was a bust.
Yeah, that's pretty unusual, honestly, to go through those, 7 checks with the dam and Mini Moldorm Cave and not really get anything of value out of it at all.
Skolitz is our green pennant, so we definitely will need that cane. And 3 heart pieces. I'm sure that's not the first time we've seen that in this mode. Tends to happen when there's 48 of those.
Yeah, so here's Ice Rod Cave. This is sort of the last chance for Willard's South Shore route to come on top here. Vortex is going to be going... Ooh, it does! There's the mitts. So Vortex might be losing some time here. Because
unless the Moon Pearl
unless Hammer shows up in
maybe
Eastern.
Hammer.
Yeah, it looks like Willard is not going to be in a huge rush to follow those mitts to Dark World. Gonna clean up some more of the Light World here, which makes sense. Mitts Dark World entry is not the best, especially when you don't have the Moon Pearl.
Right. Red Rupee for the first of 3 items in Eastern. Willard heading into the front of Hyrule Castle. I know all 3 items in the front are going to be items.
Yeah, so we did see the map in the back? Correct?
Yes, and then there was the key in the sanctuary. Alright, there it is. There's our Dark World access.
Okay, so Vortex might be losing less time than we think here, because I'm sure his next move here is going to be doing the South Shore that he didn't do earlier. So unless he decides for some reason to orphan Ice Rod Cave, he'll be getting his mitts pretty quickly here. Yeah, and that was also a very good Eastern Palace, considering it's a pendant. We got all 3 items in the very first 3 chests. That's really common to not see that. I don't recall the last time I've seen that in a run.
Yeah, pretty unusual. Yeah, that magic decanter is what replaced the half magic.
Yeah, it's not even half your magic bar. It's kind of
quite
a bit of a downgrade. Yeah, we see Willard taking intentional damage here to this guard to set up for a death warp, because he is going to want to check Dark Cross here. And, Vortex might get away with skipping the front of escape entirely. Yeah, my guess is we'll see Willard go towards Eastern after he finishes this Dark Cross check here. So we'll see at that point. I think Vortex is going to have a bit of a lead just from not having done the castle dungeon sequence.
It's like Willard's heading off to Eastern, and now Vortex has the Mets and Dorkwold access.
And predictably, Vortex is, with Moon Pearl and Mitts in hand, is going to take that straight to Dark World. Not a whole lot left to check in the Light World. Again, we have 2 available items on the mountain out of logic. Fake Flippers available out of logic. The only in logic remaining item that we haven't seen is Zora, which is not top of anybody's priority list. Vortex hasn't done the Front of Escape, but this is definitely the play to go for here.
All right, map check. Pendant Swamp and a 5/6 on Misery Mire.
So we do have both TR and Misery Mire to do. We will need to see both Fire and Ice Rods. Ah, yes. Chat reminding us we haven't seen Nagina's Cave, the oft forgotten cave in the corner of the desert. That also has not been checked.
That was the
But
mirror.
we do see the mirror, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, now, coming into Dark World with Mitts here, you have a couple options of where you can go. A lot of people do like to check the front of Skull Woods right away upon entry to the Dark World. You get that chance of finding, you know, both of the Skull Woods item checks right there in the front. They're very accessible, so they can easily be really important items. Vortex seems to be opting to go straight in and clear Thieves Town. Without Hammer, that can be a little bit spooky at times, but I think at this point it's probably what you do. At least check the front.
Yeah, it's 4 quick checks. And we already have 2 items out of here, including the Master Sword.
Yes, Vortex has the potential to find one more item in the front here. There's that big key that has to be in the front. And the small key. Looks like he's going to continue on. So even with that small key showing up, putting that big key chest accessible, without the hammer, he can't get that item. So it's possible he's leaving an item there. With 2 out of 4 items already showing up, I think it's a worthwhile gamble to go for.
Yeah. And that's a crystal as well.
Yeah, even if that last item does end up getting locked in there, it's at this point in the seed, it's kind of you know, you just kind of have to shrug your shoulders and be like, okay, well, I hope I don't need it. You know, Willard making the play into Skull Woods, as I was mentioning earlier. We'll see what he finds there. Now, I don't believe there's a music command, mostly because the music we're hearing right now is the audio from Vortex's stream, which is the Ace Attorney MSU. Good old Phoenix Wright music.
Alright, so far we did find a piece of heart in Skull Woods. We did find another item in the attic of Thieves, so just one remaining.
Yeah, it's kind of the ideal spot to be in going into the basement. And Willard's got this one last chest to check here. Okay, he has one more last chest to check with that big key showing up.
That's all 4 items in Thieves Town, so we can just skip the big chest.
Yes, so it pays off. No need to come back. Doesn't matter that we didn't have the hammer. Willard has a little more of a goose chase here in front of Skull Woods. Unfortunate, but, you know, it happens. And the map doesn't even get the item out of it.
And the only other one's in the back. As our first crystal about 20 minutes in. It's 10 arrows on bumper legs, so we're going to be going back to that.
Yeah, probably gonna just checking that on the way before heading into village. Yes. Now I imagine we see Vortex at least start the smith chain here. With the mitts and the mirror, it's kind of a no-brainer.
Yeah. I'll do the
dig game first.
Yeah, I guess
that's the mistake I make most of the time. I'm like, okay, let's start working our way south. Get the closest thing is the smith, and then I, especially if I don't have mirror, I don't go and turn him in right away, and then I go down here to do dig game and realize I can't do it if somebody's following me.
And we get bombos.
It's not bad. That could be our logical, Ice Palace melt the Freezors item. And getting that extra money isn't too terrible either, considering we have yet to either open Pod or check Zora.
No, we have not seen King Zora.
We're hovering right around that 500 rupee mark. You generally after 20 minutes into a seed, you usually can count on having enough money by the time you get to checking those, but you never like being in that position where it's like, okay, now it's time to go check it, and you're a couple rupees short. You have to figure out where to make those up.
And Vortex is gonna pick up Purple Chest. Take that on a tour.
Yeah, I think this makes a little bit of sense. You probably take this through to desert area. Check what's on the ledge. Go visit Agina. We're kind of running out of places in this quadrant of the map to check. With the mirror, we can really get a lot of it out of the way here. Ideally, we'd have the book, too, to check a Bombos tablet, but I think this is nice coverage.
Yeah, the thing about money in this mode is because there's so many heart pieces, you gotta take out some of the other junk, and sometimes it's those big money items that get taken out.
Now, Willard opts here to not do Thieves Town. If I had to guess, it would probably be the lack of the hammer.
Yeah, probably. I know sometimes runners will want to avoid going into Thieves Town without the hammer.
Yeah, the risk of that is that there's something important freely available. We do find our final sword for the seed there in Hype Cape, by the way. But with the potential of 3 items just sitting right out there in the front, there could be a very important progression item right in the front. So putting it off entirely is kind of a gamble. That said, it is a dungeon that benefits greatly from the use of the boots. So if Willard is able to find the boots before getting back, he can compensate with a much quicker clear of the dungeon, which we know is there wasn't anything of any real value in there anyway, so looks like that play is not going to really bite Willard too much here.
We also found Quake in Hype Cave, so no need to go on any medallion hunts tonight.
Yeah, at this stage, we're really just kind of clearing out what we can before we inevitably go to the Palace of Darkness. It's kind of the last bastion of remaining checks in any real quantity.
Willard, your purple chest. Unless he did the thing to
Yeah, he might just have left
trick
it
the game
behind.
into thinking it still has purple chest behind you.
Yeah, as long as you interact with the Desert Bandit here before your iframes after mirroring wear out, he gives you the item anyway. The game has not yet registered that you don't have the chest following you anymore, and he gets that 20.
Yeah, looks like Vortex is now gonna head up Death Mountain.
Yeah,
Well, first we're gonna get Lumberjack.
Yeah, he's checking Lumberjack here, just because it's his last chance to get this info before he is never in this area ever again.
And it's just a blue rupee.
So yeah, interesting that Vortex deciding to go up the mountain here. It does make a certain amount of sense. It's a little smaller of an upfront investment, kind of than going to Pod. Pod is going to take a while. He has to go through the maze, has to pay Kiki. Got to do all that. Might, get sidetracked going to Pyramid. This is going to unlock that save and quit warp for him. It's not the I don't know. It looks like Willard's going for it as well. Maybe I don't know as much as these guys, and it's a very small maybe. I don't know as much as these guys, but yeah, we'll see what they decide to do. Willard is not going to the mountain. All right, we can't go to Pod because we don't have the hammer. I'm kind of assuming that we just kind of have the hammer here, but we definitely very much do not.
Neither do we have neither the flippers to get over there.
Yeah, so I think Vortex is making this play hoping that he doesn't have to A, go down the front of Hyrule Castle, and B, assuming that his next logical item is going to be either lamp or flute to get this mountain access. I suppose you can go up and do Hera as well.
Yeah, we did find the bug net in Spectacle Rock Cave, which, yeah, they're not gonna...
Yeah, the bug net is especially useless in this seed here with our moratorium on bottles. We only get the one, and so there's not really a reason to put a fairy in there. welcome sight, that big key in the first basement area there.
Yeah, because we don't have the hook shot. Vortex is gonna go straight up without checking the lobby chest.
Yeah, it's not too bad to go and check it afterwards. Since he has to do this dungeon anyway, I think that's a fair play. He could very well run into both items on the way up, so it's not a... He loses, what, maybe a couple seconds max checking it afterwards. Yeah, I think our last two remaining checks that are in logic that we haven't seen are Zora, King Zora, and the Graveyard Ledge.
Yet to find either item in Hera so far.
Ooh, Vortex misses the bumper skip.
Gets past it this time.
Oh, it's the most scuffed bumper skip I've seen. Vortex will make quick work of Moldorm here, and we'll see our first item here in Hera. Second, unfortunately, in the basement, out of reach. We don't have fire for it. Or, well, it might not be in the basement. It could be in the lobby. Hope springs eternal.
Okay, there's one item. Yeah, Vortex hasn't done front of escape.
Yeah, unfortunately his skip of that is probably not going to hold here, because he's probably going to go for that before he goes for Zora or Graveyard Ledge, because those are kind of, you know, it's too obvious that we can't really hope that, you know, oh, you know, well, he could Mega Brain it and go, you know, north, do Kern skip, or like Kern jump across the river and check Catfish into Zora. You know, that would be pretty cool, but it's easier to just go do front of escape. That makes a lot more sense.
And there is an item in Hera basement.
Yeah. I do think we're seeing Vortex going to check Skull Woods, which he didn't do. He didn't do that either. And another bit of the puzzle that's putting Willard a little bit behind. So Willard's going to be gaining some of this lost time back as Vortex is retreading his steps.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Skullwoods and the Graveyard Ledge, and then Catfish and Zora. Yeah, I expect if he goes that way, he'll Kern jump over and then do Catfish and then Zora. Alright, and this is going to be Willard's first crystal at about just under 32 minutes in.
Yeah, Willard definitely has a bit more, at the point of getting the first crystal, has a bit more understanding of where the items are not in this seed. He's done a fair few checks already. I think we're going to see him go up and do a Graveyard Ledge here ahead of Vortex. We're probably going to see Willard take the lead in terms of progress here if this is the item that we need, as we're not as likely to see Willard go up the mountain. I wouldn't think. That felt like a little more of a bit of a risky play on Vortex's side. I mean, he does have the dungeon done, which is very good. Here's the mushroom. It's interesting.
That's pretty convenient.
Yeah, it's a good place to get it if you're taking this route here. If we see a Kern jump from Willard here. Like if you're gonna get mushroom, you know, as part of your overworld cleanup, that's definitely one of the best places to get it. And there
Very
it
nice
is.
current jump.
Yeah.
Wheeler's not going to be safe scumming the mushroom.
Yeah, I think the value of getting this logical item, because Willard has the knowledge at this point that, you know, it's very much one of the last items that's in logic here. So there it is. It's the hammer. So yeah, a lot of the time you'll see people, especially when you have the red cane already, you'll see people check what the item is by dropping a save, and then checking the item, and, you know, leaving it if it's not what they want. But there's not really too much incentive to do that when it's one of 2 logical checks remaining.
Alright, what does this fish give us? Boots!
Ooh, very nice. I love that guy. He's always trying to help out. Yeah, so if we get a good item from Zora, this is probably the most the biggest payout north Dark World loop I've seen. But just a piece of heart, a little bit of love.
Alright, so now we've got the hammer. And we're gonna put those boots, we're gonna head right over to King's Tomb.
Yeah, I would say that hammer favors Willard here. Willard hasn't gone up the mountain yet. That gives him the option of going up the mountain and clearing all of right side Death Mountain alongside Tower of Hera, which is pretty nice. Vortex is going to have to make another walk up the mountain for that. And if Hookshot is right side, then it's going to be an entire mountain climb that Vortex is going to have to do over Willard in any case.
And it looks like Lord's gonna make the play up the mountain. I'll check Lumberjack first.
Yeah, if your other option is, you know, you go into pod without the ability to full clear it, you backtrack all the way back and check hammer pegs. Not a lot of great options. It's probably better to break logic and check the smorgasbord over on right side Death Mountain, along with picking up another crystal along the way. So Willard comes out on top in this interaction. The early play from Vortex kind of burns him a little bit here. It'll be interesting to see if Vortex decides to go back up the mountain right away here. I'd expect not.
Yeah, looks like we are going to get hammer pegs.
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense for Vortex, given that he's already gone up the mountain once and has done sort of that, the left side in the light world, and the Tower of Hera doesn't have as much to gain from going back up there. So even though there are a lot of items on the right side, he's been up there once. They're all out of logic. At this point, he made that choice earlier to take the gamble on it, that something would be up there or in Tower of Hera. Didn't get anything out of it. Now he's kind of just got stuck following that hammer.
And it's just a piece of hearts.
Yeah, so now it'll be interesting to see if he decides to go up the mountain or if he makes the play into Palace of Darkness. It looks like he's saving quitting to the mountain. So this saves him a little bit of time. He doesn't have to go through that front section again, but still has to climb all the way up. A little faster with the boots now, but again, he's losing time over Willard here. Every second he spends on this mountain is time that Willard has sort of already sort of saved on him.
I'm just thinking, they're not going to check Spike here. I'm pretty sure that's in logic, right? Oh, right, no, it's not. We don't have Burn Our Cave.
Yeah, and don't think we quite have the hearts for it. Might be possible with a health potion of some sort, but so yeah, Vortex is managing to still stay ahead of Willard here in terms of, you know, where he's checking when. I think it's mostly he hasn't had to pay yet for the for skipping Hyrule Castle. He's managed to avoid doing that still. And the longer he manages to do that, the more time he has to potentially sort of give up on Willard here, because he'll have that time save still on him.
I'm playing a little dangerous with the Smoldorn, but it takes care of it.
Yeah, for anybody just tuning in, this is the Link to the Past main randomizer tournament for 2022. We're just kicking off our group stages here. This is Group Z with Vortex of Doom versus Willard J. Bradley.
Oh, there's the lamp, so the flute's going to be logically required to get up here.
Yeah, it's looking at this point like the flute's gonna be in Palace of Darkness somewhere. Now, there's an interesting opportunity coming up. We don't have the Fire Rod, but we do have the Cane of Samaria and all of the medallions, so we know we can get into Turtle Rock here, and we can check one chest in there.
I don't see
would it be worth it? You know, sometimes it is. Sometimes it's worth the 45 seconds or so it takes to check that one chest. Most of the time it's nothing, but you never really know. Cheesecake Militia makes an interesting comment here. With that torch, or with the lamp there, you can now check Hera Basement and get the last item that's there. Is that a move you make here? I'm not sure. I feel like Hera Basement takes long enough that you really prefer to avoid it. Oh, Vortex probably going to set up for some hovers here.
It looks like it.
Drops it there. We'll see if he decides to keep going for it. I think he's going to give it another shot. Now, this did pay off pretty big for runner in a race I commentated last week. It was Laggy versus PH. PH hovered across these chests and managed to find the Cane of Samaria hiding up here. Almost won in the race.
Lord's at least gonna open Turtle Rock. I don't know if he's gonna actually go in.
Yeah, I mean, you open it if it's up here. It's nice to take that top warp, get it open. You don't have to sit through this cutscene later. Yeah, Vortex is gonna do the same thing.
Oh, he is doing. He's going in.
You know, it's telling you, it's not a terrible play to check this front chest. It's almost kind of insurance to go in there without the fire rod, because if you do have the fire rod, it can dupe you into making a much larger dip. But here it's like, hey, unless it's the fire rod right here, you can't do anything else in here. So you just dip right after checking it. Hey, it was an item, could have been something great, but yeah, he's out of there in what, 20 seconds.
So it looks like we're still looking for the bow, the flute, and both rods for hard required items.
Yeah, we also need that flute. So that's, I think at this point, is either in Palace of Darkness or sitting on the pyramid. Could be vanilla, could be under that shovel.
Yeah, you know, Vortex saying Pet or Riot, you know, really the only thing it can have at this point is the ice rod, because the flute's locking the lamp, and the lamp's locking Pet at this point. Due to the Eastern Palace,
it looks like
vanilla.
Willard's gonna go for the hovers here too. See if he gets them a little better than Vortex did.
And Vortex is gonna have Pyramid Ledge.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, you check it before you head into pod. In any case, the only question would be whether you make the swing by check that shovel. Yeah, Willard gives up on the hovers. I kind of wonder if he was going for that because he knows that Vortex practices hovering a fair bit, pretty relatively consistent with it. But either way, he can rest assured that it won't bite him too much because, as we saw, there was nothing of major value over there. Another good news for Willard fans out there: Vortex is now going to Hyrule Castle. It's going to be a little quicker than it was when Willard did it because he does have the boots, but this is just free time gain for Willard here.
Alright, when are we gonna dig up? Just to be smart.
Yeah, I did kind of misspeak earlier when I posited that we could have vanilla flute. Flute is our logical mountain axis, so with the shovel up there, there's really no chance that we're going to see it there. Yeah, Willard's going this way because he didn't check hammer pegs, so he's got that to clean up here. Yeah, neither of these runners are super keen on going to pod here without the mirror. I mean, not with the mirror, the bow.
Alright, we're heading over to pod. Without the bow.
Yeah, a pod without bow is it's one of those dungeons that's kind of scary in a rando setting because there's 5 items total in there, and it's logically locked by a lot of it's logically locked by the bow. There's a bit that's logically locked by the lamp or another fire source. For some of them, you know, you need the hammer to clear it. You need the bow to clear it as well. So while a lot of people sort of fear pendant pod because it's like it's a large time investment to go over there, you know, it's not super attractive. But at the same time, you really, when you have to do it, you really don't want to go in there without making sure you couldn't have gotten the bow first. Because if you have to come back in here after finding the bow somewhere else, that's pretty painful to have to go through that maze again.
Well, it's not immediately bow locked. And we're gonna follow Vortex in.
Yeah, looks a little like he's a little bit behind here. He is, I think, at this point, what, one check up, having done the shovel.
Yeah.
You know, minus not having done Hookshot Cave. But at this point, that's kind of a relatively last location here anyway.
Oh, very nice hover.
Yeah, Vortex has got a pretty consistent hover.
We found 4 keys in the front. There have to be at least 4, yep. What was the big key in one item?
Yeah, Willard not doing the hover that Vortex did to get to that bow-locked side.
Wonder if he'll mimic clip.
Yeah, that's... Mimic Clip can take up a bit of time. The hover strat is fast, but it's definitely more optimal, but definitely not super easy. Nice hammer jump there.
Oh, flippers in the big chest.
There's that NMG practice paying off there. So yeah, it was either flute in here or some item that's eventually going to lead to flute. And it's looking so far like it has to be those flippers. Yeah, we're too many small keys short for the well, no, because those flippers are out of, there it is, yeah, because those flippers were out of logic. Because you're supposed to go through the dark room, you're supposed to have the lamp already for that dark maze. So yeah, no, we were right all along.
And it's bow lock too.
Yeah, I'm not up on my pod logic. How many small keys were available without bow? Was it enough to for sure make it back there without wasting any?
The big chest is 6. That whole area of the dark maze in the big chest is 6 key locked, and there was a key on the
right. But that's for the flippers. The flute only needed.
Yeah, flute needs 4, and there's always 4 in the front, so that's good. So we're good there.
Well, always 4 in the front, provided you can get to bow locked side though.
All right.
Well, we can double check here with Willard here. He's gonna check these chests. We can see if they were both small keys or not. No, they were not.
There was a small key on the right.
There was one small key, but they weren't both small keys. So that's one small key over there. Yeah, I think that flute was in logic, 100%. I mean, I kind of think it had to be.
It looks like this is going to be Hookless Ice Palace.
Not necessarily.
Oh, wait, no, actually,
he's probably going to check those flippers checks first.
And Hobo.
Though Hookless Ice isn't a terrible play here either. Ideally, you'd like to see the Fire Rod just to make it a little bit quicker, but I wouldn't hate to do Hookless Ice here.
Nice blue potion from the fairy. Now we're gonna go Ice Palace.
Yeah, interesting to note. So this is all out of logic until, or no, it's not. Not anymore. Right, because we put everything in logic when we found the flute. But so Vortex though is leaving the hobo check. He might be doing that after Ice Palace here.
Yeah, Hylia Island.
Yeah, Hylia Island was checked at least by Vortex. I definitely saw Vortex look at it. Didn't notice if Willard peeked at it. But it is merely a, what, piece of heart?
No, pot is
Arrows?
a crystal. Whatever it was
I don't know.
useless.
It's junk anyway on Hylia Island. And there's the icebreaker from Vortex. So let's see where Willard flies to.
Alright, well there's
Okay,
the big key. So I don't think Ice is hook locked. I think it's the big keys in this area. It's not.
It's an interesting book.
Yes, it is. Bow and both sides. Well, that was our last sword. That's the only green 20 definite means that it replaced. That's the only. Well, swords are the only thing that overloaded green 20.
Yes, correct. So 4 swords are placed. You only get 3. The last one is replaced with that green 20. And Willard here showing sort of the other option to following the flippers, checking the Mire area and going to desert. I would say both are pretty much equally good plays at this point. It's kind of 6 of one, half dozen of the other. You're guaranteed, you know, you need to go to these areas anyway.
Oh, nice palace. It's a 50-50 between iced tea and cold stir for that last item. Both items in desert were junk.
Yeah, looks like Vortex is going straight for that last item. They're going for hoping it's on cold stare. That's risky in Ice Palace. Ice Tea is not quick redip. You know, you don't just quick check Ice Tea if you don't find it in.
Oh, I already did it.
Oh, already did Ice Tea. Yeah, we kind of were busy watching both sides, but in that case, you know, it makes a lot more sense to go for cold stare rather than check Ice Tea again. I don't think we'll live to see the meta where you check Ice Tea twice. Very quick cold stare kill though.
That was a shield, and it's the only one we're getting. Unless Willard finds another one somewhere else.
Yeah, you know, it's ice. Cold stare is often the boss that people kind of bemoan when people say, "Oh, that was a clean cold stare kill," when it wasn't. But that was actually clean. That was about as quick as that can go. And we'll follow Willard into Desert and Mire. Willard will be spending a little extra time here, I would imagine, because he's going to want to check Agina after doing this before heading into Mire.
Alright, and we're just gonna next head into Misery Mire, I think.
Yes, most likely.
Yeah,
Probably
getting the
he's
medallion
planning on
ready.
checking Agina and Checkerboard on the way out. I was going to say if necessary, but it very much is going to be necessary. There's no chance that we get every item we need in Misery Mire here, because we require 3. One of them could be Hookshot, though. Even though you are supposed to use the hookshot to get across that gap, Boots put it in logic still, so...
Now, chat's saying hookless pendant swamp is also a thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be the last item on both of these runners' lists, I would imagine. I don't think this seed has been strange enough for either of them to consider doing it early. You really only do that when you've had a really weird seed, and you feel like you gotta make a weird play to try and make sense of it, but it's been a little too conventional for that.
So we started out with a cape in Misery Mire.
Yeah, that puts Spike Cave in logic for us. Both runners lighting torches at the same time. Ooh,
And
small key there.
There, so that means cutscene chest has to have the big key.
Well, one of the only situations, you generally will not see runners go immediately from that check down to the south to do this cutscene chest. Usually will only come back here if you absolutely have to. Because it is a very long and winding road.
Including this lengthy cutscene.
The eponymous cutscene. Yeah, I'm curious to see if Vortex is going to check Checkerboard Cave before dipping into Mire. I think it's slightly more optimal to do it afterwards, because yeah, you save yourself two mirror transitions, but you could end up saving yourself a fair bit of time in the dungeon itself, only if the checkerboard item is the bow, because you get since you have silvers, you can save a little bit of time on the boss. But with the extra time it would take to walk over before, it might just be marginal at best.
Well, Cold Star has that, or not Cold Star, Vitreous has our second item.
Yeah, it's the other eyeball boss, as opposed to the other eyeball boss.
Other, which one would that be?
You've got your classic, the trio. You've got Cold Stare, Vitreous, and Argus.
Oh right, that thing. I don't think of that as an eyeball.
Yeah, they're heavily eyeball themed. Yeah, I always used to think that that Aghanim's crown was just a giant Cyclops eyeball when I was a kid.
Vortex.
Getting a bit too fancy. Too fancy for his pantsy. Getting bullied by the projectiles in that room a little bit.
Nice use of the cape.
Yeah, it's a pretty good item to find in here, considering we haven't seen the bow yet.
Yeah, trying to fight Victorious without bow or burn her cape, it can get quite annoying.
Yeah, I mean, even doing it with Burna is annoying. I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world. It's pretty easy, but it's very framey, which itself is annoying.
Alright, I will be right back.
Yeah, so I'm assuming now we're going to see Willard check Checkerboard Cave and Agina. His Vortex heads to the back. Yeah, with that Misery Mire clear, that is Pyramid Fairy access. We do have that red bomb unlocked here. Yeah, the other logical option we have is Spike Cave, which is Spike Cave and Hera Basement. Neither of those have been checked yet by either runner. I imagine we're seeing the Pyramid Fairy here from Willard. Makes a lot of sense. We also have the book now, so we haven't checked either tablet. So actually, it might not be the worst strategy in the world to maybe go up the mountain one last time. Especially for Vortex, since he doesn't have any reason to go over to Hookshot Cave since he has already checked it. Though ideally, you would prefer to have your rods to do Turtle Rock if you're climbing up the mountain another time.
Alright, I am back. Alright, Pyramid Fairy. What do we got here? Nothing. And yeah, we have not gone back to Hera Basement.
Seeing where Willard goes here, it looks like, yep, he's going to Ice Palace. We also haven't seen Hobo yet. We'll see if Willard checks Hobo here, or if he opts to leave it too. Yeah, Vortex with a much less clean kill here, messes up the cape strat there. Tries to go for the old standby NMG. Use damage boost and hit the eyeballs with a spin attack. Playing it risky there. That's okay. He does have the cape. That's a bit of a scuffed fight, but he makes it through.
Alright, Willard is going to check Hobo. Oh, no.
No, he didn't get the peek on that earlier.
Alright. Both of them orphaning Hobo for the time being.
Yeah, we've actually missed a fair number of checks that we just haven't seen at all. So we'll see what Vortex decides to do here. He's going to check Checkerboard, find out that it's got nothing. We'll see where he goes after that. I would imagine he checks Pyramid Fairy, because that's a quick 2 that he just unlocked. It's all in logic. It's nice and easy, but oh no, Vortex forgot he already checked this. right? Vortex was the one that checked it, not Willard.
I don't remember
I
if.
think it was Vortex.
Yeah. Oh. Yep.
Yep. Oh man.
It
I mean, at least
happens.
he had boots this time. If you do that twice without boots, you feel real bad. But again, if you're not sure, you definitely have to check. So yeah, Vortex is kind of now in just kind of cleanup mode. He's got to clean up all of the random checks here and there. He's got this, he's got Hobo, he's got the 3 up on left side mountain, Spike Cave, pedestal, or not pedestal, the tablet, and Hera basement. Looks like he might be making the swamp dip.
Yeah, with it's a pendant and no hook shot.
You can do Bombo's tablet here. Or no, he... Oh yeah, he hasn't done this yet.
Oh yeah, Pyramid Fairy.
Yeah, I kind of mentally had already written him off as already having done that, but he went and checked the Grove instead. Willard, meanwhile, cruising through Ice Palace, which is kind of the only lead right now that Vortex has on this. That's a nice heads up. He's checking Hobo here, wrapping this in.
Taking a big bomb with him.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen the bomb swim before. Just thinking of it. It's...
Do you have time to get it back? Okay, yeah.
Willard's approaching the fight as Vortex is going to be checking these last 2 checks in Pyramid Fairy here. This is a quick cold star fight from Willard. This is going to put things pretty even. Vortex is going to be Hobo ahead, but it's not super consequential.
Alright, let's see where Vortex decides to go now.
I feel like you go up the mountain.
Yeah, floating to 1.
There's 3 checks in here. All of them are pretty long. Well, they're not all long. The tablet isn't too bad. It's all the way at the top, but compared to Spike Cave and Hera Basement, it's not too bad. But yeah, these aren't great checks to do, but I think it's really not... When your other option, right, is going to Pendant Swamp hookless, I feel like that's really hopeful. Like, you go down there, hoping to avoid an extra mountain climb?
Yeah.
I think this is the right play.
There's
There
the
it
bow.
Yeah, Willard might be less inclined to do that, given that he would really prefer to check Hookshot Cave, which he tried to do earlier with the hovers but failed. Vortex managed to do it successfully. Pretty well, only fell once actually. But yeah, we'll see. Vortex, letting it ride. He's gonna check Hera Basement. It's a good call. You still need 2 items. No, it looks like Willard's going up there, so it's a good call. Good call, Willard.
So now we are just hunting for 2 rods.
Yeah, that bow doesn't unlock too many checks. I didn't count our items in Palace of Darkness, but even if there are any items remaining, it really only unlocks the 1 item for us there.
Pretty sure Helm of Sword King has an item. Alright, well, we're just gonna check Spike Cave now.
Yeah, he's checking Spike Cave first. This is...
There it is, in Hera basements.
Yeah. Fire rod there. Alright, I guess that's something. That's, yeah.
Okay.
That's the worst, kind of the worst one to find. We would have preferred to see Ice Rod. Just because, you know, Fire Rod opens up the second item in Skull Woods. It opens up most of TR. So now you have the question, okay, well, are we going to see the Ice Rod in TR? It's less comfy, but nothing that these runners haven't seen before. The settings on this race is the standard tournament hard open rules. So it's a open 7 defeat Ganon with a custom item pool. That makes things a bit trickier for our runners here. Willard picks up his bow, and we're kind of off to the races here.
Alright, both going. Oh, Willard skipping Hera basements.
It's not a terrible play on its face, honestly, because it's a large time investment for a single check. You might feel like you have to cut some corners, but unfortunately, that's not a corner he's going to want to cut. The good news is he might run into the hook shot. If he's lucky, he runs into the hook shot and has a reason to go back up the mountain, but that's kind of the slight ray of hope.
Yeah, I feel like if hook shot shows that he's going to get pulled in the swamp, which the Ice Rod could be in there, for all we know.
I'm feeling it is, personally. I don't really, at this point, I don't really see the Ice Rod not being in swamp. Just numerically, it's most of the checks that are left are in swamp.
Alright, there's one item left in Skull Woods, as well as the green pendant.
If the Ice Rod is in swamp, yeah, Willard could potentially, you know, get the full clear on TR, and if the Ice Rod isn't in TR, and he goes in there, but that's kind of contingent on him getting the hook shot without the Fire Rod, which, you know, very well could be one of those last two items locked by it. Yeah, that Hera basement is bad news for Willard. Just, you know, because he really only made one decision to skip it. Because the first time he skipped it, he didn't have a choice. There was no fire to be had. But you make the choice to skip it there, an hour 17 into the seed, hour 15-ish when it actually happened. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Willard's just gonna, or not Willard, Vertex is just gonna go into Turtle Rock and just see if the Ice Rod's there.
Yeah, they've both checked quite a bit of the, it's been pretty comprehensive how much they've checked, so it's very possible that either of them could be, you know, you always theory craft the best possible run your opponent could be having in your head as you find the items, and this is sort of the point in the run where you start to have to make those snap decisions. Do I play safe? Do I make a play? Try to find something, which is why we're really seeing them diverge here. Willard going straight into I think he's checking the ped actually.
Yeah, and let's could have the ice rod for all we know.
Yeah, so right now both runners are like, okay, we're in ice rod hunt mode. We've just got to kind of check where it is, and really anything goes.
Oh, just a shield, which would turn into a blue rupee for them.
Yeah, so unfortunately for Willard, though, he checks that. Well, no, never mind. It didn't make sense for him to do the other thing because he doesn't have the fire rod. If you do have the fire rod, you go and do the back of Skull Woods there into checking the ped. But yeah, Willard, I think, going for a swamp and Bombos tablet. Probably in the opposite order, if I had to guess.
Oh, Vortex forgetting about it doesn't have the hook shot.
Ah, yeah, that autopilot will get you. I want to get off Mr. Bones' wild ride.
It's just the gold sword that...
No!
Vortex, no! Oh, I don't know if he has enough time. It's only the sword.
Yeah.
It's only the sword that overflows to green 20. Shields, bottles, and armor overflow to blue rupees.
Correct.
And there's a blue rupee there, so that was either our last shield.
Could have been the mirror shield. Could have been French vanilla mirror shield.
Because all regular blue rupees get taken out. I mean, yeah, the ice rod could be in Swamp, but that does absolutely nothing for the moment for Willard.
Yeah, the biggest problem that Willard has now is the fire rod, which is probably the most important item he's still missing, is in what's probably a last location for him. If he finds the ice rod, it's probably going to send him back up the mountain, but he's probably still not going to check it before he... Well, no, because he's not going to dive into TR. If he finds the ice rod and the hookshot in here, that's probably the best chance he gets, because he's probably going to go up to Hookshot Cave and then check Hera Basement, but that's a big ask.
He's got a big key right away, so we do have access to the big chest.
Yeah, that's big key right away is kind of the only time I sort of consider skipping left side. You know, because that gives you the, you know, you get to check the most amount of things for not map and compass before you have to make the call on whether or not you're skipping it. That said, Willard doesn't have the hookshot, so there's no skip to be had.
Alright, is the hookshot vanilla? Nope.
Okay, 3 more checks here in Swamp Palace for Willard. You know, I kind of feel like TR is strictly a better play here.
Yeah.
Just, it's the same amount of checks. You have access to almost all of them, as opposed to just the first half. Because, I mean, I guess Swamp has slightly more total if you factor in Bombo's tablet, but yeah, this is, if you're pulling for Willard here, you gotta really be hopeful on this left side here.
Yeah, there it is.
That's great news for Vortex. Fantastic news. I think, yep, that's go mode. For him, anyway.
Yeah, I'm sure
he hovers the rest of the seed, yeah. He definitely showed us he can do that in Hookshot Cave, that hookshot is optional. classic hover seed right here. Yeah, if this last these last couple checks here for Willard aren't hookshot, he's gonna be very lost. Willard approaches the last chest as Vortex heads up to Trinex. And the final crystal.
We found all 3 items in Eastern.
Yeah, I don't remember if Willard checked Eastern on. I kind of feel like he has to have done that. Otherwise, he would have done it right after clearing Pod if he hadn't done that earlier on. Backdoor strats on Trinex there. Now with these settings, this is a deceptively tricky boss sometimes, because if you get into a bad rhythm with those rod shots, it's really easy to just use up all of your magic. And I don't think Vortex has any potion left. I think he did use it already.
Oh, there's the hook shot.
Wow. That is disgusting. That's cruel. This entire seed lynched on whether or not you go back to check Hera basement. That's absurd. But yeah, that's Vortex heading into Ganon's Tower. We've got 22 checks down there. It's been a while. I kind of sometimes feel like 22 is one too many. But yeah, if y'all want to have some fun, we can try to guess how many checks it's going to take for Vortex to find it. I'm a Vortex simp, so I'm going to guess 1. He's going to get it right away. He's going to skip all of the checks on the way to where it is and just open it right away. He's just gonna go straight there, ignoring everything else. He's got that sight.
Erna was sitting on the torch. You know, Sahasravat will, give people a reprieve from insanity, like they did with these runners.
Alright, it's 5 checks down, no big key.
Yeah, Vice Rod is in Turtle Rock. It's in the big chest.
Yeah, well, the good news is for Willard, with the hookshot being here at the end of Turtle Rock, it's not going to be hover or bust, which would be pretty unfortunate. They very easily could have put hookshot in the back of Skull Woods. That's 8, 9, 10, and 11, I believe, if I'm counting correctly.
Yes.
And that's 12. We're officially over halfway through. Officially below average. If you vastly simplify the statistics of the whole thing.
Right, 13 is 10 bombs.
The many explosions.
Right, 14 is the compass, 15 is a piece of heart, 16 is a red rupee, and 17 is the big key.
Yeah, Willard could make up some time there if he goes full left side. But, yeah, Vortex definitely with what one could call a sizable lead here. With no search for the Master Sword here, we've got the Tempered Sword already. This is going to be as quick and easy of an ending as these seeds are going to get. Willard just about to come across some of the better news he's received in the last 10 minutes of this race.
Vortex going to the safety room before heading up the gauntlet.
Yeah, not a bad call. Again, we're limited on safeties. There's that ice rod for Willard. But yeah, we're limited on safeties. You don't want to take too much damage when you're on green mail with Ganon. You know, just lets you. It gives you a little bit of wiggle room.
And Vortex did switch off silvers for the gauntlet because it does cause quite a bit of lag in this area.
Yeah, for example, in that room, the silvers probably would have you messed up that setup just a little bit, just enough to make it a bit less consistent. We might be seeing Vortex heading into the last boss of Ganon's Tower as Willard is heading to the boss of Turtle Rock here. Willard's probably going to get there a little bit ahead here.
Yeah.
Moving swiftly up those stairs to avoid the jingle glitch. Yeah, Vortex one room off from Mold Room 2 here. Synchronized explosions there.
And we get a heart container for the last check in G2.
Yeah, definitely. Vortex could have gone for the hover there, but I don't know. I'm gonna say that would probably be excessive disrespect there. You know, the game gives you the hook shot, life gives you lemons. Don't hover Moldorm 2 if you don't have to. It would have been excessively stylish, though.
Looks like it's going to be a 5-cycle Aga 2.
Didn't need to be, but he gets there in the end. Now this is kind of the you don't know how Vortex is feeling here. You know, finding the ice rod and the hook shot in Turtle Rock. You know, you don't know what your opponent's done in the race, but having done that before diving into Hookless Swamp, you know, it's kind of a toss-up. He didn't go to the back of Skull Woods. There's a lot of things that Vortex could be thinking Willard did here that he didn't have to do, so he might be feeling pretty good about where he's at here, but you never really know with these. There's always that possibility your opponent's going to finish right before you do.
Yeah. We're already into phase 3, but only 4 hearts.
Did take a hit and the bat comes out. It's not ideal.
At least these bats only do 2 hearts instead of the other ones, which do 4.
Yeah, this fight is no joke on green mail. You know, you think about that, it seems like they're being nice by making those bats hurt you less. But, you know, you really think about it, that kind of means they're more trying to knock you into the pits than they are trying to actually kill you outright, which is a bit sadistic of Nintendo. But Vortex clears it out. That's 4 silver arrows to the pig, and that's going to do it. Final time, 1 hour, 36 minutes, 7 seconds. GG's.
And we'll see if Vortex wants to join us. Well, it's making his way through GT. We'll eventually come across the big key rando room. I believe this was their first match of the group stage for both of these runners, so Vortex 1-0, Willard 0-1.
Yeah, the first match of the group entirely, so good start for Vortex, but definitely more matches to be played. Each of the groups has 4 players. They each play 3 matches, one against each of their opponents, and the top 2 runners out of that from every group will advance to the main bracket.
6 times. It's a double round robin.
6 times, okay. I almost know what I'm talking about.
And we're now joined by Vortex. GG.
Hello.
Yeah, so what do you feel were the turning points in this race for you? Like what show me your thought process.
I mean, nothing went wrong for me. So, like, the things I regret the most are going the wrong way in TR Torches Maze and going to Agina twice. Like, that's... Other than that, there are no real complaints. Like, Willard and I were talking a bit, and, like, if you go back to Hera Basement after you sequence break the mountain, this seed is super jet if you decide to dip TR at that point, because you just like hit go mode for free.
Yeah, it's kind of a hard choice to make though, because it's all of your runners are so used to the lamp is really nothing. It's just a logical implication. That's kind of it. And it's hard to place that much value on a check as long as Hera basement, but yeah, the how did you feel when the hook shot showed up on Trinex? How ready were you to take the hover seed to its logical conclusion?
I mean, I don't know. I had mixed feelings about it. Like, on the one hand, like, it would have been pretty, like, pretty cool to, like, be able to close it out. And, like, but I know Willard, like, can hover at least a little. Like, I know he's capable, but, like, I'd been hovering well. I was ready for it. Like, I wasn't gonna, I wasn't gonna clear GT in a looking for the hook kind of way, but there was definitely some relief there because I felt like I had used up all of my hovering luck for the day. So I don't know.
Yeah, you only dropped one in actually across the whole seed, right? Because you did it in pod as well.
I dropped one each in pod and hookshot cave. But like that's only like the fourth time ever that I've gotten the right side hover in practice or seeds. I kind of just YOLO it every time and hope it works. But,
yeah, Willard had tried. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. Yeah.
I was gonna say Willard tried to hover in hookshot cave, but eventually gave up after a couple fails.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it feels a little silly to get hookshot as like your 100% go mode item when you hovered, but like I didn't waste much time doing it, and like knowing that like if I got hookshot and wasn't in go mode, it meant swamp and not hookshot cave. Like I don't know, like that peace of mind is really. I was happy for it. Don't really regret it because you never know how a seed's going to turn out at that point. So, but yeah, it's very hard to complain about pretty much anything. Like I was feeling pretty dang good after the boots and Zora, or the boots and hammer. I decided to not leave the single orphan I had in the area in hammer pegs. But other than like, which is like felt maybe overly safe, but also like getting the pearl, like that pearl, it was impossible to feel bad when I never ran out of stuff to do when I found that pearl. So
yeah, I kind of feel like throughout the run, kind of the sort of unifying theme was anytime either of you did something that the other didn't do, it ended up being pretty valueless. So it kind of ended up coming out in the wash until literally the end when you found the fire rod. Until that is like Willard did escape early, but there was nothing in there. You put it off for a while, and then you went back there, and then you didn't find anything there. You kind of traded back and forth with things you were doing at which time, and neither of you really gained much of an advantage for any particular thing.
One thing I regret is I realized after I started at Sank to activate my flute that my entire plan after getting that shovel, because I knew it couldn't be flute, was to walk up that way and activate flute with the shovel turn in. And I was gonna feel really stupid if it was bow, because I stayed super hard in logic because I knew I was finding the flute, and that was like part of the plan. And then I got the flute and I forgot all about it. And I was really happy it wasn't anything in the end, but But yeah, when I got bow, like it literally only opened Helma, and I was still 3 items from go, or 2 items from go. So basement was an easy choice. And I thought about doing TR, which would have saved a substantial amount of time, just with the second climb being what it was. Yeah. Let's pause.
Yeah, GG's in chat for Willard. Final time, 1:44:18.
GG.
Yeah, we'll see if we can pop Willard in too to share his thoughts. But yeah, all in all, how are you feeling about this as a start to the group stage here, Vortex?
I mean, obviously, it's great to get a win. I have definitely lost to all 3 runners in this group at various points, various races. There are no free wins at this level, so it's like it's good to start with a win. But I went in knowing that it was equally likely that I could win the group, or just as likely just miss brackets entirely. So happy with that.
And
Yeah,
Willard's
GG's,
now
man.
with us. GG. Yep, Willard's here. GG.
GG.
It's me. I made it, man. What a seat. Woof.
Yeah.
Just last location after last location. Feels bad, but whatever. It happens.
Yeah, that out of logic mountain dip, that it seems so obvious, and it's just like, man, just lamp, really?
Just lamp, and wasn't Bombos up there too, or was that somewhere else?
I think lamp.
That was a
showed
dig
up.
game.
Yeah, Bombos
was a dig game. Oh, okay, right.
Yeah, Bombos was dig game.
Gotcha.
Ether was somewhere else, and Quake was somewhere else again.
If I had been paying attention, I might have gone back and checked Hera basement up there after pulling the lamp out of Paradox, but it's just like, it's such a long check and it rarely has stuff in it, so
yeah, at that
I'd
point
rather
you have so many
push
things.
towards like where I knew progression was going to be, because it's like, okay, well, now I know Flute's in like the 3 spots that I've left behind: hammer, pegs, pyramid, or pod, and of course still chose wrong each time.
I mean, I also last located the flute.
The flute.
Flippers, because like I don't know how you don't with no progressive.
Yeah, I don't know how you don't full clear this seed, just the way things were laid out. Like
yeah, I mean, all I had left was pod or swamp and Bombo's tablet in the entire seed when I. Because at that point I had to go to TR when I chose. I almost did swamp and Bombos instead of ether, spike, basement, but I chose right.
Well, the thing was, for me, I was under the mindset that those flippers were bow locked because there was a key on the bow side, but I guess they're only locked by 5 keys, since you can't actually waste your last key on the boss door because you don't have the bow. So when I pulled bow off of ether, I was very confused momentarily, and that might have played a part in me just being like, well, I'll just go to pod and then I'll just go to swamp or something. So I was under the impression that I wasn't going to find a bow. I was under the impression that bow was going to be like I locked behind fire rod, and I knew fire rod what was going to be like showing up pretty soon.
Yes.
But even then, like, I wonder how close it was when we both grabbed bow off of ether. How close it would have been if I had followed suit and gone into Hera basement as well.
Yeah,
8 minutes. I don't think 8 minutes to do Spike Cave and Swamp and most of Swamp and Bombos.
Yeah, it would have been closer. I believe Vortex was the first up there by a minute or 2 at least. Maybe less than that. It's hard to remember at this point. It's ancient history.
So, yeah. So even if I had made the right choice, I don't know, it still would have probably came down to a different GT route or. I can't believe Trinex had a hookshot. I mean, I can, but I was
can't
like,
either. I was.
It was like 2 tourneys ago. I was in a race very similar where I was in my last dungeon. It was Hera, and I was ready for Hover City, and then of course Moldrum had my hookshot. And I'm like, well, never mind. I don't have to think about it. So I was like, as bad as it was getting late Fire Rod into late Ice Rod, I was like, well, there's still the whole hookshot Moldrum bounce hover scenario playing out, because if hookshot's like over in Green Pendant or off Moth, then we still have an interesting game. But then Trinex was like, no, I got you, bud. You go. Sit down.
My last match in the mentor tournament in 2020 was this exact scenario where it's like you're looking for Ice Rod and hookshot. TR's your last crystal, and it was also Ice Rod there, and then hookshot on Trinex. And I didn't know how to hover then, so I didn't know what I was going to do. But I
mean, I was happy to see it because I couldn't hover hookshot cave earlier. I tried. And I was like, nope, I don't got it. Not today.
I landed all my hovers, but I don't know. Sometimes it just feels like you've used up your luck.
Right.
And getting up to GT, if you fail once or fail some of the stuff, getting to big key, if it's hookshot locked, like I just didn't know how nerves would play out. So I was relieved.
Which route did you take in GT? Did you do hope to full lift, or?
I did the slowest way to Rando, or not slowest. I didn't go all the way to Ice Armos, but I did left then right. Then
okay, so same as me.
Yeah.
The safest route, I'd say.
Yeah.
Vortex, we gotta stop meeting like this with these ice rods and TR, man.
Yeah, so. I'm sick of it too. So, well,
I was pretty sick of. I was kind of bummed to see this mode pop up. I was like. I was gearing up for something wacky, and it's like, well, this is the tamest it could have possibly been. But then the seed actually happened. I was like, okay, never mind. This was still pretty wacky.
Yep. Hopefully next time, if it's like an Ice Red and TR, it's like boss shuffle, and we know we can clear it anyway going in. But
yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
Fingers crossed. Well, GG's, dude. I'll see you for game 2 sometime next week.
Yep. Good luck with the rest of your matches.
You too.
Get them scheduled. So.
You. Thanks, Comms. Thanks, Tracker. Thanks, Restream. Thanks, chat.
Yeah. Shout outs to, well, let's see. We got my co-com VXR, Sandres on tracking, Scupula on the Restream. And right now, we don't have a whole lot on the docket. We do have another Group Z match coming up, though. On ALTTP Randomizer. That's going to be Medium versus Brewers fan JP. It's going to be at 11:10 Eastern if the schedule is to be believed.
Other 2 Group Z gamers, so that'll be fun.
So yeah, see everybody on the other side. Thanks for watching.
Have a good night, everyone.